and welcome back to another Teacher Time with Kelsie. I have a brand new artist to share with you today that was actually suggested to me by one of our Olive Room children, Anna. She has a book about this artist and had mentioned it during one of our Zoom calls, which made me want to do a little bit more research and see if I could find a way to bring their work to you. So I have a pretty cool art project planned for after I introduce this artist to you, and I am excited to get started. So just grab your favorite drink and get into your cozy spot, and I will show you some of our Artist of the Week's work. This is Henri Matisse. So now that you've had a chance to see some of Henri Matisse's work, I wanted to tell you a little bit about him and how he got started as an artist. He was a little different than a lot of other artists that I've researched and learned more about, where he didn't start when he was a child. He actually started when he was a little older, and it was kind of just by chance that he found painting. So when he was older, he had to have a surgery, which meant that he had to stay at home for a while to recover. And while he was recovering, to give himself something to do, his mom got him some art supplies. So she got him some paints and paintbrushes, and that's where he first started painting, just kind of as a way to keep himself busy while he was at home, which I feel like a lot of you guys can connect with right now. I'm sure a lot of you are doing art because you're at home too, and it's something that you can do there. So Henri Matisse started doing that painting at home, and what he discovered was that he really loved it and he wanted to be a painter. So he moved to a place where a lot of painters lived, and he learned from them and got a lot of inspiration from them. And then he discovered a special type of painting, which we mentioned last week, called Impressionism. And in that type of painting, he also discovered artists like Paul Cézanne, who was the artist that we mentioned. And he learned a lot from them. He learned about landscape painting and still life painting, and he learned about how to use colors to represent different things. So Henri Matisse took a lot of that information, and what he did is, as he got older, he kind of started to find his own style of how to use all those tools, specifically the colors that he kind of explored when he was doing that impressionist type of painting. And what he did was he created a new technique that he liked to call painting with scissors. So this was not a normal kind of painting thing like you might imagine. What he actually did is he created paper collages. So he would use what he knew about color, and he would cut out different shapes in paper, and he would collage them on top of each other. And he would cut out two different types of shapes. So he would cut out sometimes geometric shapes, which are shapes like rectangles, triangles, circles. And he would also cut out organic shapes, which are shapes that don't really have a specific amount of sides. Sometimes they're kind of curvy, sometimes they have curves and lines, sometimes they're a little like almost like a lightning bolt or something, kind of zigzag. So organic shapes can have any type of form. They don't have a specific form. So he would use these two different things, the organic and the geometric shapes, and he would collage the pieces that he cut out with a bunch of different colors to make this really big, beautiful artwork. And a lot of times he would try to make those cutouts pretty large too, so that they could go on big pictures. But I thought that was something that was really fascinating. We haven't really explored an artist yet who used collaging as their medium, and I know that that's a type of art that a lot of you connect with. So when I heard that about Henri Matisse, I knew that that was the type of project that we needed to get into next, and I can't wait to show you what we're going to do. But before we get started, I want to tell you a little bit about the materials that we're going to need for this too. For this project, you're going to be creating a colorful paper collage just like Henri Matisse. So you'll need to gather up a few things before we start. One of the first things is you'll need a background to be able to glue your shapes on. It could be a large paper, a small paper, or if you have one at home, a canvas too. Anything that would be okay for you to glue your shapes to is fine for this. So the other thing that you're going to need is you're going to need some construction paper. That's what you'll be using to cut your shapes. So it would be helpful if you have a lot of different colors, as many as you want to use. Henri Matisse used a lot of colors in his work, and what that does is it makes it so that you can really see the different shapes on your collage. So the more colors you have, the better. You can kind of look around and see what types of construction paper you have, or if you just have different patterned paper, that also works too. So any kind of type of paper where you can have a few different colors or designs. The other thing that you'll need is scissors and then some glue too. So once you have those four things, we can get started. Here you go. Once you have all your materials, the first step will be to cut your shapes out of the construction paper. I started by cutting my geometric shapes, which were rectangles, squares, triangles, and circles. Next, I cut out some organic shapes just by playing with the scissors and paper and seeing what designs came out of it. I tried to make a lot of curly lines and a lot of zigzag lines to see if I could create different shapes. You can create whatever shapes you want. Just play around with the scissors and see what comes out. Once you have all your shapes cut out, you can start gluing them to the paper. This is your chance to really play with the design by gluing the shapes in different areas, by overlapping them, and by seeing what different patterns and pictures you can create. Just remember, this is your design, and you can be as creative as you would like with it. If you realize that you need some more shapes to continue your design, feel free to cut some out and keep gluing them to the page. I paused for a moment and cut out a few more shapes to add to my picture after seeing some empty space that I wanted to fill. And that's it. Now you have your very own Henri Matisse inspired collage. All right, there you go. You just created your very own Henri Matisse inspired collage. I hope that you enjoyed that process, and if there is anything else that you want to add to that collage, feel free to do that. I know a lot of you have done collaging before and have a lot of your own ideas of materials you like to use when you do glue different things onto a canvas. So you can get creative with it and even add a couple more layers onto what you created here. Or if you just really like it the way it is, that's totally fine too. So I hope that that was fun, and I'm glad that you could join me again on Teacher Time with Kelsie. Have a great day. Bye.